At Jose Marti Airport in Havana, families embrace for the first time in years. For Americans and returning Cuban Americans, this island is uncharted territory.
Mi papá murió, yo no pude estar allí.
My dad died and I couldn't be there. My mother is sick and is there also.
Teresa Gonzalez is among the masses fighting for a visa to leave communist Cuba. Every morning, hundreds of hopefuls gather in front of the U.S. intersection, most willing to leave loved ones behind in pursuit of the American dream.
I have my own family here, and I don't want to separate from them. But we all have to fight for things to be better.
The collapse of the Soviet Union and decades of a U.S. embargo have crushed the local economy. There's food if you have dollars to buy it, and with barely any fuel on the island, transportation is at a premium. Every day, thousands here depend on the Cameo or the camel bus to get from point A to point B. 300 people can cram their way onto this bus. It may not be the most comfortable way to get around, but for many, there's no other alternative.
You have to live it to understand it. It's really very hard.
In her humble Havana home, Teresa lives like most here. A government-issued ration book sets the menu, and in her kitchen sits a refrigerator, almost the same age as Castro's 40-year-old revolution.
My first reaction is sadness, quite frankly. She has tremendous potential, and it's wasted. It's sad the way she lives. She works very hard.
Martha Luke lives in Naples and is Teresa's younger sister. She left Cuba when she was 10 and never returned. For years, she's tried to reunite her family.
You never quite know between the governments what they decide and what Fidel's changes are.
Last year, Martha's brother and 19-year-old nephew did get out, winning what's called the Visa Lottery, $20,000 awarded yearly. Jorge Gonzalez lives with Martha in Naples. In Cuba, he wanted to be a mechanic. Now his sights are set on college. For Jorge, the difference between the place he left behind and here can be measured in simple ways, like the school cafeteria.
The lunch on the school is free, but the lunch it doesn't have the quality necessary for be a great lunch, like here.
That was a great lunch here. Yeah. It's Friday night at a Catholic church in downtown Havana. Worshippers light candles and pray in near darkness. Twice a week for 2 hours at a time, scheduled blackouts dim the lights at this church and the surrounding neighborhood. An effort to save energy in Cuba's struggling economy, what Castro's government calls the special period.
The people suffer because there are situations of hunger, of sickness, and in lots of cases, loneliness.
1 year after the landmark papal visit, Catholic leaders say change in the communist nation is slow. More humanitarian aid is coming in on charter flights, but not as much as religious leaders had hoped for. And last year, Christmas was recognized by Castro's government as an official holiday. Right here under the shadow of Che Guevara, Pope John Paul II delivered the historic Mass to hundreds of thousands of Cubans last January. Some say what happened here in Revolution Square is one reason the U.S. should take another look at its policy towards Cuba.
The damage is done. Lift embargo, get rid of that ridiculous keeping facilities for coming into Cuba. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It didn't work out.
Fort Myers resident Raul Gavalda left Cuba in 1961. He now works with the St. Vincent de Paul charity and is trying, with the help of Father Noel Mojica in Havana, to get more food, medicine, and clothing into Cuba. The influx of dollars, mainly through non-American tourism and Cubans with relatives living abroad, feeds the local economy. But life for Cubans without dollars is very rough. Nonetheless, in the middle of an ailing economy and an uncertain political future, Father Mojica says hope runs high for the Cuban people.
El futuro es siempre prometedor.
The future is always promising when one has to suffer a little more during a difficult time. One discovers that God really loves you.